Peace from the East, y'all. Welcome back to the Peace from the East podcast here on the Davon Raymond X YouTube channel. It's me, Davon Raymond, aka Vonnie, and today I'm definitely feeling tired, as you can tell by the bags under my eyes. I had the curtain drawn here because of the crazy bright spot. If you guys are watching this and not just listening, but yeah. It is about 10 in the morning. I'm getting ready for work. That's right. Some people, they go into work 9 a.m., 7 a.m. I mean, that has been me. I'm saying some people. That has been me in the past. I remember working, now I'm living back in upstate New York, but back when I was living in Rhode Island, I found a job working at a 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts. This was like up in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Was it? Or were we like just across the border into Blackstone, Massachusetts? I had a few jobs out there, so it all just gets like kind of muddied in my brain, to be perfectly honest. I was just talking to my mom about this for filing taxes. Like, all right, so I had like how many jobs? Like seven? Like, I got to get 1099s and W-2s. Anyway, to go back to that 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts job, it's cool that that existed because I didn't even know that could even be a thing. But now that I've worked there, it makes sense. People need coffee or croissant sandwiches or whatever, at 2 a.m. and they need it at, 4 a.m. when they go to work and all of that. So I had to be there at 3 a.m. to do like super early 3 a.m. shifts. But even when I worked here in upstate New York, I had to be there at a similar time to open the store. So that's just what it is for a lot of people working super early. But right now, I am in a position where I can set my schedule, but really just set my availability. I could set it to be much earlier in the day, but I really just have been getting used to, and I'm really liking having time to like wake up and to, just wake up, instead of just like immediately clock in, which is okay for the things I've done in the past. But now, geez, I just like to have some time to myself. Even earlier today, I was thinking, I'm working full time, at this restaurant, fast food place. And it's okay. It's exactly what I just described. It's fast food. It's full time, which means it's full time annoying. And you get a full time paycheck for a fast food job, which is okay, but it's not the best, but it's okay. I'm not going to complain because it's money for an easy job. It is a little bit stressful, and I feel that I can very easily just give myself, just keep doing great and keep getting 40 hours and then keep getting burnt out, because every day that I have lived since I've moved back to upstate New York from Rhode Island, I just feel like, yeah, this is not where I want to be working and living. I'm from here. I am somebody who, whenever okay, by the way, just saying, I've made a video about this. So you guys can check this out on the Davon Raymond X YouTube channel, me talking about me quitting my job. And I was saying, like, was it my prayers answered? Whatever, you guys can watch that video. I'll actually leave a link to that video in the description of this podcast episode so you guys can watch it. But I am frequently feeling that I don't really belong where I am, and I'm only here because I have, this particular limitation in my head, thinking that this is all I can do, basically. So I was working Dunkin' Donuts, or I'm working Amazon, delivery, or I'm working UPS in the warehouse, unloading trucks, or whatever I was doing, just all of these things. There's like a period of time where I feel like, yes, God gave me this job, and this feels good. And then after a while, I'm like, yeah, I think I could waste my life doing this, or I just could maybe do something else. I keep feeling that I'm wasting my time lifting these boxes. I'm wasting my time serving more coffee. Which, by the way, working for Dunkin' Donuts is easy as far as like food safety and whatever. It's simple. The menu is simple, and even though everyone has a custom coffee, it's all easy stuff. So working at Dunkin', I feel like is gonna be probably one of like my absolute favorite like fast food jobs I've ever worked up until this point. It definitely is. I've worked for multiple Dunkins, and even though it always gets annoying because after a while you're thinking to yourself, I know this is easy money, but what am I doing with my life? Just this. Like, I'm not doing anything with my life, and this job is easy, but I'm not really maintaining any, like proper lifestyle where I'm doing something where I'm actually happy. I'm not giving time to projects and hobbies and personal life goals because I'm really just, you know, going to work and then going home and hanging out with my friends and watching YouTube. And I'm really not doing anything else. So that's when life starts to get really like repetitive. So I don't fully want to blame the jobs, like, oh, I don't belong at these jobs. I I do feel that way, but I don't want to fully blame that because I know it also comes from not working towards anything in my personal life. Um, and one thing that I've been trying to focus on lately is, okay, so my brain is already all over the place with all the things that I want to do because, again, I know what I don't want to do because I just keep doing it. And my brain tells me, my daily life tells me, I don't want to keep working at a fast food place as a, you know, low tier, just cashier or whatever. That doesn't mean I want to be like a store manager either because I don't. I don't want to continue that life anymore. I like dealing with people, but dealing with hungry people who expect quick food and great service and all of that, that gets old. Working with coworkers who are, hot and cold, who are like actively closed minded to learning, that type of thing. It just is like, it's just not the environment that I want to be in, even though I have the power to make an attempt to make it easier and change the culture of the restaurant that I'm in or whatever. I've worked in too many different places um, at this point to where I just feel like it's amongst all those places, there's been a consistency of laziness and, just bottom tier worker type people, um, who, when they show up to work, they just don't care about doing a good job, or anything like that. And I just don't want to be around that. If I can spend my years on the planet, uh, making decisions for myself, I would choose to not be around people if I had the option who are just leeches and are barriers to a better environment that they can be better. Some people you got to nudge them a little bit. Some people are choosing just to be not great coworkers or teammates or whatever. So it's just one of those things where you have to accept it. It is what comes with the job, whether you want it to be that way or not. That's just reality. Accept it, try to change it, fail, and then realize this is a constant and it is a constant for a reason. And accept it. Acceptance is just about where I'm at. My first job being fast food, 2013, working at a Taco Bell, which the building still stands there, but they ripped out all the equipment a long time ago, and it no longer serves any purpose. It just sits there in an empty parking lot. But ever since 2013, it's 2025 now. I I've I just I'm tired. I'm tired of being in the kitchen. I'm tired of food safety, watching it just be ignored, all across the board. Like, just seeing managers who run the place, you know, breaking all types of rules of food safety. It gets really old, for me personally. I would rather just not be involved. So, like I've said, those are my reasons as far as work. But outside of work, I've really been naturally wanting to do something else, but that's not enough for me. I need to actually focus what I want into a funnel, into a plan for what it is I'm actually going to do. I've tried to explain this to different people in my life, and I've said, for example, when I moved to Rhode Island, I was living in this bedroom right now, like just like how I am now, but 2 years ago or whatever it was, and I told myself, either the job that I'm working now or the very next job that I'm going to get, that is going to that's going to be the job that allows me to save up my money, and then I'm going to move. I really want to pursue surfing. I want to see what it's like living at a place that has like coastline. That's what I'm going to go do. So that's what I did. But I had to know that I really am passionate about this. This is exactly what I need to make, and like this is what I have to do in order to make this happen. Meaning, I have to have a job here and there. If for me to get the apartment, they need me to have this amount of money and then these pay stubs to get that amount of money. And to get pay stubs means I have to commit to a job here for a period of time. And the whole roadmap was just written out in front of me. It was clear. You need to do this, get a job, keep that job, and be sure the job that you got, you're able to transfer to wherever it is that you want to move. And I was able to put through a transfer within the Chipotle company and move in companies. I kept my position, and I made like a lower rate, but still, that's what it was. So it was cool, but at the same time, now that I've lived through that, I didn't hold to the plan after I executed it. So like phase one was good, but then phase two didn't really work out so well, which is why I didn't maintain it, and I ended up moving back to my mother's house. So this time around, I don't want to do that. I want to work the job that I'm working, save up my money, and that I'm doing right now. I'm paying down credit cards and that type of thing. Getting really close to paying off this one bigger credit card, which was, guys, this was a $1,500 credit card. And it, through like being, fees and non payment, and, somehow when it was maxed out, sadly, I had the card maxed out. It is no longer. None of my cards are maxed out now, but they all were at a point in time. But this card was maxed out, and I was using it to do the rental Uber program. Sorry, where's my water? Where's my water? Let me take a sip, y'all. Dying over here. Yeah. So, right. So, when I was living in Rhode Island, a last ditch effort to find a job and method of transportation after I sold my car, which I made a video about that. If you guys want to see it, be sure to check out Davon Raymond X here on YouTube. I'll leave a link to that video as well of me selling my car and how I felt after I did that. But a few months after, I still needed to get around, and I didn't like the job that I was doing, so I ended up getting a rental Uber car from down in Providence, I think it was, or East Providence, um, and it was cool. I rented from Avis, and I had a electric vehicle, Kia Niro or something. I had an electric vehicle, uh, for like around almost $400 a week, which is a lot of money. Of almost $400 a week. It was too much money to commit, honestly. But it was great to be able to drive around, basically free gas because it was electric. And there's this one street in Warwick where you could go. I mean, this is the smallest state in the U.S. You can get around to the different parts of the state relatively easily. So it's not really so tough to go to like a centralized location like Providence or even Warwick. So I would drive there and charge up my car all the way, or to like either 80% or more than that, even though they only recommend that you go to 80. And then I just drive around the state and enjoy my life. But it was tough because they wanted for basically $387 or something every month. So, and then you had like the little like fees from the highway, like toll fees and stuff. So there was a lot of things to consider. So my point in bringing all that up is this credit card that was max 1500 had a this is so annoying. Uh, Somehow a charge went through after it was already maxed out. Um, and before it got, basically two charges went on it that should not have got on it. So it was around like $1,200, I think, was on the card, like used up. So there's only like a few $100s left, and I didn't want to use the card anymore. So I told the company, hey, I don't want to use this card anymore. I want to switch it. And they said you had to upload another card. And then I said, hey, I want to switch it before the next payment. And they said, sure, just come on into the office. We'll switch out the card, your primary card with your secondary, but you have to add a secondary and then switch it here in the office. I'm like, perfect. So I did it. She said you have to make an account, sign in, do this, do that. I did everything in-house, made sure I did it with actually the young man who was working there. And then we swipe my like other card. I used a completely different card with like a bank. I'm holding the card, it's completely different. It's not a credit card. And I'm like paying for it with the balance. Like, let's pay. All right, so I pay for it. And he said, okay, you're all set. So I thought for some reason it would take a few days to reflect on my account, so because it didn't go away immediately. So I figured, okay, maybe it'll be gone in a couple days, I'm not worried, blah blah blah. The money never leaves my bank account that has, like, the money for that payment. It never leaves. It sits there. It never goes anywhere. Of course, I'm just trying to continue with life, and it's paid up. Sweet, I feel so much better. I'm so glad that we handled this. Turns out it ended up charging my credit card that was already close to max. So that brought me up to like just outside of like max, like $1,550 or something. Brought me up to max. And I didn't know that. So now I have the second week where I'm making my $387 payment. And I noticed, okay, so they didn't take last week's payment, and I plan to use this card again because now it's the primary card. So they didn't take it yet. What's going on? I don't know. And long story short, 2 weeks go by now, and I still have both payments not removed from my like checking. And now I'm a little bit like, okay, what the hell? I checked my credit card. The credit card was charged for 2 months. So now it brought me from like $1,500, so from like $1,200 to $1,500, and then from like $1,500 to like $1,800. Why did this go through on the credit card? Why would it not be like, hey, it's maxed out, you can't do this, charge the other payment method? Why? Why would it do this? So I never found out why. I made my calls. I never got any clear answers as to why one was charged instead of the other after I went in and did all that stuff. So, yeah. But then I did the foolish thing of allowing the charges just because I was so frustrated. I kept the money that I should have put on the credit card. I just kept the money in my bank, and then I used it for life, which was foolish because then I never paid that credit card, brought it up with fees and whatever. I already couldn't use it because it was maxed out for like multiple weeks. The fact that it got brought up to $1,800-ish in just extra charges sucked. And then over time, it got up to $2,220. This $1,500 card, was up to $2,220 in bullshit. That sucks. That was a lot of wasted money. So now I've got that card to under $1,000. Of course, I'm not only paying on that card. I have a few other cards as well. Well, I have three total. I was thinking about getting another one, but I've got three credit cards total. And that card in particular was the highest balance of like extra fees and BS, which sucked. But that is my current goal. Um, is paying down all my credit cards. That is the only thing I look forward to when I, am getting paid, and when I'm out of work, I'm playing my video games and I'm watching YouTube, and I'm thinking like, okay, but what am I actually working towards? I'm working towards paying down this credit, so when all my balances are zero and hopefully my credit score goes back up to a proper number, I can maybe get a car. Now, if I get a car, guys, then the things that I am wanting to do locally, it kind of opens up for me. Um, Getting a car is a commitment, and it allows me to do traveling. If I wanted to live out of my car, I could until it broke down. Then I would be very upset. Um, I could facilitate moving to like Santa Cruz, like that. Ideas popped up in my head recently. I used to like the idea of moving to Santa Cruz years ago, and because I was a big fan of Coral Comstra Brown, formerly known as Coralfish 19, and watching her content, I really thought, dude, I want to go to California. I want to go to Santa Cruz. It's like a not quite a hippie town, but like a nice smaller town vibe in California with nature and coastline. And it just seemed really nice, beaches and stuff. And this was before I was interested in surfing, so this was just because I thought it would be dope to go. So maybe like 10 years ago, I was thinking about doing this. Now I'm 29, and the idea is coming back in my head, and I just feel like, I don't know, maybe. But of course, since I just moved back from New England, from Rhode Island, right, to New York, back to my home state, back to my hometown, back to my bedroom in my mother's home, I just feel like it's time again. I'm getting a little bit invested in the company that I'm working with currently, but as I've already said, every single day I feel like I need to be doing something else. And of course, I try to mix things up at the job. I ask to work, can I work in the kitchen instead of working in the front of house where I have to deal with guests, because I get good reviews. I guess people, they like to interact with me on the front of house, which is great, but also it's draining to me because I do a good job that does require effort. And if you're in the drive through, or if you're up front dealing with people, or whatever you're doing, it just is a draining thing. And it's draining for me because I feel the weight of doing it for, 10 years of my life. That's why it feels like this normal mundane task feels like so heavy, because I'm just regretting having done it for so long. So that's not to say that the task itself is so difficult, but again, I don't want to be doing it, and I know I haven't wanted to do it for so long, and I know that I've been doing it and not been happy, like been unhappy for so long. That is why, um, that is why I know that even though I'm making these changes to make things a little bit easier, I'm thinking maybe I might want to reduce my hours in the future, which seems like, well, how am I going to move out and how am I going to do any of that? I know. And that's something we can talk a little bit. We can get more into it later. But I just know in my heart and in my head that unless there is something really keeping me working at this location, unless there's some reason to stay, I'm out of here because I don't want to be here. There has to be something. But for me, I don't like that because I'm focusing on, let me find some reason to stay here. When in reality, I just can't commit to a reason to leave because so many different ideas are fogging up my brain, and I just don't know what I actually would like to do next. I get the grandiose ideas. I've made a video that I was embarrassed and I took it off the internet. But I think I may have to put it back up. It's called Japan or Bust. I was really excited like last year or like 8 months ago or something, because I thought, you know what, I don't have any relationships here, meaning like romantic relationships. I have my family and friends, but as far as like something keeping me in the country, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing. And I keep feeling like it could be awesome to travel to new countries, to maybe live in new countries for periods of time. And I start going down a YouTube hole about how to do that and, work away companies and all of this stuff. And I don't really, I want to be more open to new things, but I don't want to do like I lived with some family in Japan. Like, no, I don't want that experience. If I did go to Japan, I would want my own space, where I could be safe and comfortable. And the idea of going to Japan, it keeps popping up in my head because I just want some adventure. I want some adventure, and I don't want the fear of whatever to stop me from pursuing um, something grand like leaving the country for Asia, you know. And you see all these people talking about their experiences on YouTube, and they say, I moved to Japan, I never looked back. I've been here for 13 years, I've been here for 8 years, I've been here for 1 year, and I can't wait to leave. So there's so many different opinions, and I just have to form my own by going. But geez, like, I just really wish it was more clear for what I actually wanted to do next in my life, and what decisions can I make that will best facilitate that. I could very well save up my money while I'm here at my mother's house, have an agreed upon time for me to leave, which is basically what I'm doing, but then choose to leave the country. I could choose to do so many things. So one of the things that popped up in my head, which I talked about in a recent video, was getting the TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language certification, the one that's accredited and recognized by foreign countries in Latin America, Asia, and Europe. That would be amazing, because then I could have the door open to have a new career or a new job, which would be teaching English as a native speaker online or in person in these other countries. So I have really looked into this. I basically have gotten all the way up to the point of clicking like submit for paying for the classes online. I I really, part of me just, I just don't want to make a rash decision because I just want something to happen in my life, and I stumbled upon teaching, and it's something that you can do in certain situations without a bachelor's degree, which is me. I don't have a bachelor's, I don't have an associate's, I have a mixed assortment of credits, and if I did go back, I could probably piece something together over the course of a few years, which is fine. And if I had a reason to go back specifically as a part of my plan, then I would go back. I'm open to it. But just as lost as I am for a major and a career and whatever, I'm just as lost for where I want to live and how I want to spend my days. And I don't want to invest a lot of time and money in something that I'm not going to use. And I do want to invest time and money into something that can facilitate that life of more freedom and can separate me, bridge the gap, from me escaping this fast food type of lifestyle that I know I don't want to continue. The only thing I really like about my particular company and me working there right now, which I have to go to work somewhat shortly. The only thing I really like about it is the fact that there is a potential for travel for working with the company. And I just think to myself, If that is what we're going to do, okay, then fire. I could figure out an apartment situation here. I can do that and then just know that I'm going to be traveling often. So I'll try to find a really cheap place. Or the traveling thing is like a once in a blue moon type thing. And that means it's not worth it for me to stay. And if travel was that important, more so than living elsewhere, would it be worth it to keep the job here, travel so and so with them, live here, and then just to really focus on taking as many vacation days as I want in order to satisfy that want for vacation. But I don't think that vacation is going to be enough. Living here is what it is one of the major issues with my dissatisfaction for how my life is going right now. Not living with my mom or I don't like my family. It's not like that. I mean, being in this town, being in this state, or at least upstate. If I was in the city, I'd maybe feel differently because I'd be in the city. I wouldn't be where I've lived for the past 30 years. Like, that is what I mean. I've got family members who've gone to, like, Latin America and, multiple, the Caribbean and all this stuff, Costa Rica. They've gone. They've gone. Adios. They've gone to Canada, for traveling, I mean. And nothing is stopping me from doing that. And I also feel very much that I want to do and travel to these different countries and do something else. So it's just a matter of really focusing and funneling my focus into something. And I can save up and move. I can get the equipment for, like, say, a YouTube channel and really step it up. I can do whatever it is. My problem is really thinking and knowing I'm going to give this a try. I think that's probably what it is, that I'm over hyping the first step. And I do feel a little bit of a time crunch because I've been back in New York since October. So October, November, December, January, February. So that's 5 months of getting back on my feet, which is way more time than I needed to spend. I immediately came home and started dealing with a relationship, and her and I, we were going to get an apartment together and live out here and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm telling you, when I was dating them, I was like, look, I want to move away immediately. Just saying, like, I want us to both work, get our money, be able to transfer, and then move, because that is the lifestyle that I want. I want it to be transient, I guess, or just nomadic, but not so much so that we live in a van, but just like I want to move and know what it's like to live elsewhere and to take on these life challenges together. That's what I wanted. And that just not, they wanted to be here for at least another couple of years to get their life foundation in order or whatever. And they want to go back to school, and they want to, go back. They want to work and do all that stuff here. And granted, they are a few years younger than myself, so maybe that is just of their age. And I'm not complaining. If go back to school, if that's what makes them feel better, and for their lives and their personal goals, I would never want to bring somebody along in what I want in my life if that's not what they want in their life, because I don't want in my life there to be people who don't want to be there. Only those who want to be there and are positive and all of that. That is what makes it like a mutual decision for something. So, I would never want to coax somebody into doing something my way. That's not really a relationship that I want to be a part of. That doesn't sound very good. So, I wanted to just move pretty much immediately, and it was really just like chasing something. I feel like, but to get back to the point is that I came back here, focused on dating and moving locally and all this stuff. Then that fell apart. And though I love my dear friends who I hang out with every now and again here, even my own mother encourages me to go do something. She even was like, because we chatted about Japan and all that. She was like, yeah, good, go to Japan. Go to Japan for a year. Whatever. See if you like it. And if you don't, all right, go somewhere else. So even my own mother is encouraging me to just go do something. You clearly have this interest. I got to take another sip of water, guys. Yeah. But yeah, I clearly have an interest in, Japan and Asia in general. I clearly have an interest in surfing and experiencing nature and doing something different. I'm always interested in what's different, what's the other option. Okay, what's gonna get me to have a more interesting life, other than the mundane what I've been doing, because I don't want to do this. I would rather be doing that, you know. So that's just what it is. Like, I want to go to the beach, or I don't just want to be at the beach, but I want to be surfing at the beach. You know what I mean? Like, there's just I always want to be doing like something different. You know, so I just want to be true to that. And whenever I go into work and I have these mindset, when I'm in this mindset, I just I just feel so much like, all right, today am I gonna quit today? And I'm not gonna do that anymore. Like when I was younger, it'd be like, I'm out of here. Nowadays I would definitely do like a 2 week notice. And as per my plan, that's not what I want to do right now anyway. I want to clean up my credit, which I'm getting so very close to doing, so very close to having a zero card balance on all of my credit cards, which will put me in a nice position. It will put me in a nice position to where, I can have a little bit of change, and say I want to move, or say I want to do this, I want to do that. It's going to be a lot easier because I'm going to have access to some money. So that's just where I'm at. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive and lost. I think it would be really smart for me to take this English teaching thing seriously, because it will allow me to really free up my income. It will free up my it'll just give me another tool in my box. I'll have a certification. I'll be legit. I'll be able to teach English online or in person in different countries, which is incredible. And I think if I just commit and just pay for the classes, take the classes, get the certification, once I'm on the other end of it, and I'm going to vlog the whole thing because it's going to be awesome. I think if I just do that, then I will have made a significant change, probably the most significant change in my life. I think that will open up so many doors versus just moving away to Santa Cruz and doing DoorDash, Uber Eats, and landing another Dunkin' Donuts job, and then eventually being less than satisfied in that, and then eventually wanting to move elsewhere and repeating the cycle. Of course, I would love for somewhere along this journey for the YouTube for me to take it A, more seriously, and for B, for in doing that, for the views to roll in and hopefully AdSense, and then I'll be able to kind of make money through YouTube, but also through like teaching online. That would be legit. That would be so legit, because the freedom that you are allowed with that, setting your own wages or working with companies, teaching adults and children how to speak English, which is really important that they know it for the sake of their personal journeys. And because I have the native skill of someone who's born and raised in upstate New York, I can deliver that service, and they can provide me payment, which can then pay for my travels or whatever my accommodations are. And I think it is flexible enough to where I can make my own schedules and be able to travel and do all of this stuff. So ultimately, I just want to clean up this credit card so I can drop the classes right on the credit card, immediately start paying it off again, and have this certification and really just stick to this. I think even if for some reason I don't like teaching, I think it's still worth developing the skill and using it as my key to enter other countries and to have work there. I think that would be literally incredible. And it's kind of exactly what I'm looking for too, because I want adventure in my life and I want a career change. And that's literally what it promises. Um, or at least it gives you the opportunity, whether you want to teach in other countries or what I really want to do is have the experience of teaching in another country, but I also want, you know, to know how I can teach online because I want to teach in my country. I like the idea of like imagine if I had my own nice apartment here in the US, whatever state I choose, and I'm just funding it through teaching online and, throwing some money in the S&P 500 and trying to make YouTube videos and getting some change through that. I mean, that is really the path that I want to take as of now. That's where I want. And then I'll probably pull back if YouTube really climbs and really goes like supernova. They'll probably dial back the teaching, or I will keep the teaching and I'll create like my own school or something. I would want to contribute to ESL because I do think ESL is like a really good, positive thing for the world, certainly for the country, for the US, but for whoever it is that wants to learn English, I want them to have that opportunity. And if I can help them to do that, that means that God is probably happy with me because I'm doing something to help one of his children to make their lives better. And that is something that I know I'm happy to do to make God happy, but also because it makes me happy to know that I'm actually making a net positive. When I'm working at a gas station, when I'm working doing whatever else, you know, uh, I don't like providing the vices for people. Nowadays, I would turn down a job at a dispensary, though in the past I would have been all over it. I don't want to sell weed. I don't want to sell alcohol. I don't want to, provide cigarettes. I don't want to provide lottery for anybody. None of that. Just if it's a vice, I don't want to be the middleman touching it, holding it, passing it, seeing that you have this addiction and I'm just the middleman. I don't want that to be a part of my life, much like how I don't want to be working in these fast food industries because you're working with a bunch of different personalities and stuff like that. I don't want to do that anymore. With making YouTube videos and with teaching, you especially online, you have the control of you're the professor, like you're the teacher, you're the one that's leading what's going on, and you have the opportunity to not teach this particular student if they are terrible or rude or disrespectful or whatever. You can not never teach them again. You know what I mean? So, but if I work at a fast food place and there's a jerk who comes through who always has attitude or wants to like record you with their camera or whatever creepy stuff people do in fast food, you're just subject to it. You're just subject to it. They can just do whatever, and yeah, there's the legal system and whatever, but you get the point. Is that I don't like the vulnerability of that. Of course, when you're representing yourself, you are very much vulnerable in that sense, but it is different because you set the standard for what you are, how you want to represent yourself. When it comes to corporations and companies, the general public, certain people in the certain sects of the general public, they know that they can take advantage of the fact that these employees have to adhere to company policy, and company policy gives these, ne'er-do-wells the opportunity to really flex their unpleasantness on us general public front of house facing workers, and that's just not. I'm not okay with it, and I really am tired of doing it, guys. I'm telling you. So I think this video really has. Ooh, I got a message on my phone here. Let's see. Wow, if anyone's wanting extra hours, there's plenty of shifts to pick up, is what the message I got a couple of minutes ago. Several hours. So you know what that means, guys. Either, well, basically, we're going to be running a skeleton shift, is what I'm reading, which doesn't sound very pleasant. This is one of those things. An hour before I have to go to work, I'm discovering, hey, there's going to be some gaps on your team today. So, might be a little bit more of a struggle. You may be doing more than one position, you know, and you're also still not allowed to accept tips. So, this is the reality. This is the reality of working for someone who isn't you, basically. So I feel like this entire episode, I brought you along this journey when ultimately I feel like it was just a confirmation of seeing where I stand, reflecting on where I've been, taking an inventory of my brain, finances, wants, desires, and all of that for how I am right now, and then really funneling my desires into a direction which ultimately led me to confirming something that I was already considering, which is teaching online. So I am a few weeks away from taking those classes, and I'm really excited. All right, so I am going to be going with. There are a couple of companies that exist out there. I was just gonna go with the. Let's see. There's the international. Am I not typing right now, or what the heck? Okay. Well, my computer doesn't like that I'm trying to type uh, and record this for some reason. The what the heck? All right, forget it. Forget it. Forget it. We're not even gonna. My computer is just literally freezing. But yeah, there's the International TEFL Academy, which is probably the one I'm going to be going with. There's also, let's see, in there's a few other ones. There's ITA. There's iTEFL. Um, yeah, there's a couple of different companies, and I've been watching YouTubers talk about which ones you should do. Ultimately, I think I'm going to go with the International TEFL Academy because they provide job search assistance, uh, like for life. So they're always going to be there for you to help you to find work. So that's incredible. And I'm talking like from what I've listened to in videos, if you are, hey, I'm going to be coming into Spain, I'm alumni with you guys. Are there any job opportunities for iTEFL alumni? And then they'll say yes or no, and then connect me with a potential job in whatever country that we work with, which is incredible. So ultimately, guys, I think that this is really where I want to lean. And in the meantime, with this fast food job, I'm not just gonna finish the classes and then run away. No, I really want to find out, hopefully today, what does my future really look like with this company, specifically on the traveling and training people, because that is easy and would be fun. That is what I want to know. And if it's not really a reality, that's fine. When I get my certification and I really start teaching and I see how much money I can make and I see how, or if an opportunity pops up where I can teach outside of the country, then I'm just going to go with that. But ultimately, I'm transitioning out of that company, only going to remain if I'm able to do traveling training. That is the only reason I could think to want to remain for like an extended period of time, beyond a year. That's what I mean. Beyond 2 years. But yeah, because guys, ultimately, if I could wake up, do like teach 4 classes in the morning, eat some lunch, teach 4 more classes, and then choose whether or not I want to teach at night, and then still be able to pay for rent and not have to deal with people who are upset because the drive-through is going slow or whatever it is. That is ultimately what I want, and that's what we're going to be doing. So I hope that I bring you guys along with me during my whole teaching career. It's exciting to even think that I'm going to be doing this. But ultimately, I think I need to attempt it. Even if for some reason on the other end I don't like it and I just don't want to do it, I think it's still worth trying. And I'm trying it because I think I do want to do it. So I wouldn't just do anything just because, I'm doing it because I think I do want to teach online. And I do want to open my life and develop into a man that can be self sufficient, that can not, I don't know, who can be free. I want to be free. That's really what it is ultimately. So, with that being said, I'm excited about the future. Keep your eyes peeled for ESL content. That's exciting. That's exciting. But I've got to continue to get ready and head to work. So until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching on the Davon Raymond X YouTube channel, and for listening, if you're listening on Spotify or wherever else you listen to podcasts, I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you in the next. And be sure to subscribe to Davon Raymond X here on YouTube. Why? Because we don't just talk about these existential things here on YouTube. We also have fun. I'll make silly videos or fun videos, trying to do more travel stuff. And yeah, I just like talking more personal goals and all of that right here on the Davon Raymond X YouTube channel. So keep your eyes peeled. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace.